He said, "Why do you think that life needs to be meaningful?" And it was just this really interesting question, which is basically that I had an unspoken demand of the universe. I'm just going to work and I'm just going to do the stuff I want to do. And when I started doing the stuff that I wanted to do, I looked up years later and I was like, I actually kind of like my life. And I was like, is this what happiness is? And I was like, I don't know. But I think one of the major plights of humanity, myself included, is the expectation that life should be different than it is. And so we create this idea that whatever we have right now is not what it should be. And I think should is the root of all pain. Is that all the things that we think should happen but aren't is basically the measurement of our pain. And so I've tried to eradicate should from my life. And just lean into is. It just is this way. But just the generalized shoulds of he shouldn't do that. He should build a family. He should have kids. He should have gotten married earlier. He should have gotten later. He should have married someone different. He shouldn't have the life that he has. He shouldn't work this way. According to what? And so for me, that is my theory on life, on happiness, work, and love has been very unified because I love my work so much that I got out of a relationship. And so you have to be willing to deal with me working this way or this won't work because my relationship with my work is the most satisfying relationship I have. But I see my goals and my relationship with my goals as one of the most sacred things that I have because I see them as a relationship with myself.
Mm.
And so those proxy when someone comes in and says, "Hey, sweetie, you've been working too much." According to what? Why should I stop? Right? Um, Now let's do this other thing. And people will probably see this as they'll put whatever labels they want on it. But like I just said, this is what I would like to do with my life. And if you can incorporate yourself into that, that would be amazing. And so my second date with Layla, after we talked about business for 4 hours on our first date, was I said, I'm going to be working all day. It'd be cool if you worked with me. And she just worked next to me. She had her own thing, but she just worked beside me. And I was like, this is nice. And over time, eventually was like, hey, maybe you want to work on my thing with me. And she was like, yeah, that sounds good. It was a little bit more than that, but like fundamentally, I got her to switch to working on it with me. And at that point, what we got to talk about was what we were creating together. And to me, that's been the journey of my life, and it's been amazing. And it would make sense for me that my path would be different than most people's because I don't behave like most people, and so I would have to have a different formula for how I drive meaning or joy from my own life.